Good morning, students, or maybe it's good afternoon. So, today we are going to start the lesion of a spinal cord, not brainstem. I've been told to uh, teach only the lesion of spinal cord, and mainly in these lesions, only one or two is important. That is, Brown sequard syndrome is important. Otherwise, you don't expect question from other, at your level. You don't expect question from other, topic from these lesion of the spinal cord. But then you have to know the different pathological feature that occurs when there are lesions or trauma to the spinal cord. So let's start. The transection of a spinal cord का मतलब क्या है? Transection means the cutting of the spinal cords. Okay, अगर सिंपल भाषा में कहा जाए तो so the transection can be of three type. It can be complete transection through and through the spinal cord, or incomplete transection of a spinal cord, or hemisection. Hemisection means only half of the spinal cord of one side has been uh, transected. In that case, it is known as hemisection. Okay. So now let's talk about the here important is only hemisection is important, but we'll discuss it the complete and incomplete transaction also. So the complete transaction of a spinal cord. The common causes of the complete transaction are: the first one is the gunshot injury. You can have through and through gunshot injury that can damage your spinal cord, severing all the nerves attached to it, severing the whole bone. That means through and through injuries. Dislocation of spinal cord. I mean, not a spinal cord only. The vertebra also they get displaced totally. Okay, that and that constitute a complete transaction. Or you may not have an anatomical disturbance, but then you can have a occlusion of blood vessels supplying the area of that the whole of the spinal cord, so that it mimics like there is a transaction of spinal cord, because any spinal cord functions need blood vessels and everything to for its working. So if you occlude the blood vessel supplying to the spinal cord, that level of the spinal cord will definitely be functionless. In other words, you can say it has been complete transected, though anatomically it is not. So what are the common site of a complete transaction? Common site is the mid thoracic level, T4, T5, T6. These are the level where this complete transaction mainly occurs, and these are also the level where people are more exposed to the injury. Okay. Now any of the transaction, okay, be it complete or incomplete, they will go through certain phases, like the stages of spinal shock. Then they will go into the stage of reflex activity, and then the reflex failure. Okay, so let's see one by one what is the stage of spinal shock. So it refers to the cessation of all the functions and activity below the level of the section immediately after the injury. So this word immediately is very important, and other word below the level is very important. Okay, so these are the keywords which you can so it is always the spinal shock is below the level of the injury. Whenever you have the complete transaction, below that transaction, whatever your portion of the bodies are, they will be affected, and it will be an immediate effect, right? So what happens now? The effect will depend on the site of injury. So if there is a complete transaction in the cervical region above C5, if there is a complete transaction above C5, so it might involve, that means it might involve medulla oblongata and many important nerves uh, that arises from the central system. So it is usually fatal, because cutting and connection between the respiratory center and respiratory muscles. Okay, above C5, if you cut it, so the nerves which are supplying to the respiratory muscle are severed. That will lead to the respiratory paralysis. Okay, so above C5 it is usually fatal because of mainly the respiratory muscle paralysis. In quick transaction of a spinal cord, the patient will feel that his body has been divided into two portions. The upper portion which is working, and the lower portion below the injury, it is not working. So that is the the patient feels like this. He is cut into two halves, two portion. There is a scientific term for it. I don't remember it exactly. Now, what are the causes of stage of spinal shock? Now, this stage is also known as flaccidity. Stage of flaccidity. The cause is really not known, but it can be related to the cessation of the tonic neuronal discharge from upper brainstem or supraspinal pathway. So we say that the central system has a control over the spinal level, so that it controls the peripheral organ. So in that scenario, the brainstem has also a control over what control it has on a spinal cord. So it has a tonic neuronal discharge. Okay, tonic neuronal discharge to control the spinal cord function. Suppose this discharge is disconnected, so the spinal cord will be functionless. No one to support from the central. This spinal cord level are used to be guided by the brainstem, but when there is a loss of connection, no guidance for a shorter period or for a certain period, so that will be a functionless spinal cord, right? But in the time to come, we will see that some interneuron cells, we have discussed it about the interneuron cell in the gray matter, dorsal gray matter, where it connects the effector and effector, right? So we will see that these interconnected cell will be a guiding authority. After some time, after 2 or 3, 4 weeks, this will be a guiding authority, and then the reflexes will again return. They don't need the help of the guiding principles from the brainstem. So it will be guided by the interneuron itself, but that will take time. But for now, since the brainstem connection has been cut, so for a certain scenario, there will be no function of the spinal cord, right? So you can say that there is a cessation of the tonic neuronal discharge, from the upper brainstem or the supraspinal pathway. Duration and severity of the spinal shock, and that will depend upon the evolution of animal. So higher will be the animal, okay, so more will be the duration and severity of the spinal shock. Lower will be the animal in the hierarchy, so less severe will be the spinal shock. That also tells you that more is the myelination, or more is the controlling part of the system concentrated towards the brain. There will be more severity of or duration of the spinal shock, right? So I'll read it out for you. Higher the animal, the more profound and longest lasting spinal shock. This is probably due to encephalization. This is encephalization, meaning the encephalization means kya? Brain. The higher the animal, the more evolving brain they have, more controlling authority for the brain is having. So encephalization, the controlling towards the brain, that happens when a species goes from a lower species level to the higher species level, like a man. So greater dependence of a spinal cords on the brain or the spinal higher center. Therefore, spinal shock lasts only for a few minutes in a frogs, few hours in cats and dogs, but days in monkeys, and in human it lasts for 3 weeks. So this is important, 3 weeks time. So this spinal shock can last for the 3-week time. So in higher animals, the entire nervous system is integrated as a functional unit. Therefore, damage to any part of the nervous system disturbs the smoothness and working of the functional failure is more severe, and this is known as diastasis. If I'm going too fast, you can pause the video, and you can just look whatever things you didn't understand. Now, what are the characteristic features of the spinal shock? So first we will see the motor effects, then we will see the sensory effects and vasomotor effects. So what are the effects on the motor system or the motor activity? So paralysis of the muscles occur below the level of the section. So below the level of the section, whatever muscles are there, they are supplied by those nerves below the section, will be paralyzed, right? Now, depending on the site of the lesion, when both lower limbs, that is important, both lower limb are paralyzed, we say it a paraplegia. So this term is very important for your lifelong. This term will be important. Okay. So paraplegia means when both lower limb is paralyzed. And what is quadriplegia? Very important term. When the lower limb and both upper limb are affected or paralyzed, this is known as quadriplegia. So when there is a transaction, if the transaction or the through and through injury is between two enlargements, cervical enlargement and the lumbosacral enlargements, that means to say in the thoracic area, in the thoracic segments, mainly the thoracic segments, then there will be paraplegia. And when the transaction is below C5, okay, that means involving C6, C7 up to the lumbosacral, then there is a chances that both upper limb will be also get paralyzed, and in that case it is known as quadriplegia. So both lower limb paraplegia, both upper and lower limb, it is known as quadriplegia, paralysis. So this is one motor effect that we have seen. Now the second motor effect is there will be loss of tone of whatever muscle that is paralyzed. There will be loss of tone. Okay, it will be flaccid. It can be atonic. Same thing. Atonic, flaccid, loss, atonia. That is the same. They are the same terms. So this is also known as a state of flaccid paralysis. So this state of spinal shock is also known as flaccid paralysis state, because there is no tone in the muscles that is being paralyzed. Areflexia means no superficial reflex and no deep reflexes in the organ affected or in the muscle affected. So that is, there will be areflexia. So we have seen there will be, if one word I have to say for motor effect, we will not go through all the lines. We'll just go for important terminology that we need: paraplegia, quadriplegia, flaccid paralysis, and areflexia. But this term is more than sufficient for you to remember. What is the sensory effect? All the sensations are lost below the level of transaction. Okay. What is vasomotor? So vasomotor means vascular motor, means the blood vessels, whatever the if we talk about the motor effect in the blood vessel, what should be they should be the smooth muscles surrounding the blood vessels which constrict or dilate the blood vessels, right? So this vasomotor effect is nothing but a smooth muscle controlling the vasodilatation or vasoconstriction of the blood vessels, and that is regulated by sympathetic system. And sympathetic system is, we have discussed in the spinal cord, from the intermediolateral part of the gray matter, there will be or from the lateral part of the spinal cord, there will be autonomic nerves that will arise. So if you talk about the segments, from which segment to segment it arises, so it is T1 to L2. We have discussed it. That's why it is known as thoracolumbar. Sympathetic is also known as thoracolumbar. So this sympathetic, which controls the blood vessels constriction, so that will lie between the T1 to L2. Therefore, depending upon the site of the lesion, vasomotor effects produced. Now see what interesting signs are produced. Now, if the level is below the L2, do you think there will be any effect on the blood pressure? If the translation is below L2, no. Why? Because whatever sympathetic nerve that arises is in between the T1 to L2. So if we cut below the L2, the nerves arising from L2 are intact. Nerves arising from the T1 are intact, and in between them they are also intact. So there will be no effect or very little effect on the blood pressure. If there is a transaction at the level of T1, at the level of the T1, so what will happen? If there is a transition at the level of the T1, so below it there will be no supply. So all the nerves that arises from it will not be able to control the blood pressure. So in that case, it cuts off. That means it cuts off all the thoracolumbar sympathetic neurons from the medullary cardiovascular center. As a result, there occurs a loss of sympathetic tone that is present in the blood vessels, and that will cause dilatation. So vasodilatation will cause mean blood pressure to fall from the 100 to the 40 mmHg. So it will fall to 40 mmHg. Now when we go from T1 to L2, if transaction level goes from T1 to L2, what you are supposed to find? You are supposed to find that the severity of vasodilatation decreases until we come to L2. Below L2, nothing happens. So as we go from T1 more severe. If you go toward L2, there will be less and less vasodilatation, less fall in BP, right? Absence of movement due to paralysis of the muscle further retards the circulation. So when the muscle, your lower limbs are paralyzed, so there will be no muscle pumping, and we know the muscle pump is very important for the venous return for the heart, right? So in that case, what happens? There will be more clubbing of the venous blood in your venous pool, right? They will not be circulated to the heart. So in that case, what will happen? There will be more deoxygenated blood, and so more deoxygenated blood is accumulated. There will be blue cyanotic extremities. Since the blood is not circulating, so there will be coldness that will be produced. Okay, skin will become cold, skin will become dry. Okay, skin will become blue cyanosed. Okay, and in that case, there is a development of bed sores. Suppose any type of infection or any type of pressure on your skin or blood vessels will lead to the damage of the blood vessels, and they can lead to bed sores. So a paralyzed patient, we always say that you need to change your position, right? In hospital you might see, or in the wards you might see, there will be prescription saying that the patient to use either the water bed. Water bed is something that you fill in the water in the bed, and that will give a cushion effect. Or you can use the air bed. You can fill the air, and that will prevent bed sores. Or if there is nothing of these sorts, then you can just tell the patient to change his position, so that the pressure doesn't affect one or more reason continuously, and this will prevent the bed sores. So in paralysis patient is very important. It is important to note that after paralysis of the muscle, the body temperature becomes subnormal, as the muscular contraction is a major source of heat production. When hot bottles are given to raise the body temperature, under such circumstances, bed sores develop. So we have seen this. Now, what are the visceral effect? Visceral effect means there are visceral organs in our body. What happens to that? Let's talk about bladder first. So bladder also gets paralyzed. However, the tone of the sphincter vesicae. Sphincter vesicae is the sphincter present at the lower portion of the bladder, trigon bladder, and the lower portion of the at the apex, you can say there is a sphincter vesicae, sphincter that will that is a muscular smooth muscle present in out there. They can constrict and they can dilate in order to vacate urine, right? So in the spinal shock, there will be initially for some time there will be bladder will be paralyzed, and it may happen for some shorter period there will be dribbling of the urine, but after some time there will be tone will be regained in the sphincter vesicae, and after regaining, the main complaint will be the retention of the urine, because the sphincter sphincter vesica will constrict, and that will not allow the bladder urine to fall through the ureter, and that's why there will be retention in the urine. So mainly the patient in the spinal shock will complain of retention in the urine. Okay. Now rectum is paralyzed. So the musculature and the rectum becomes hypotonic, and that's why there will be retention of the stool also. That means, in other words, we can say they will have a constipation. Penis becomes flaccid and erection becomes impossible. When lesion is at T6 level. So T6 is it supplies what? It supplies the umbilicus and the surrounding regions. So that means it also supplies the in the viscera present out there in the abdomen. So when the lesion is at T6 level, all impulses coming from the abdominal viscera, okay, that will be cut off from the brain. That means you will not feel the distension of your stomach, you will not feel the distension of your intestine. Even if your food is there, even if your gas formation is there, you don't feel it, because the T6 level spinal cord has not regained its reflex activity. It has lost the reflex activity. Therefore, gripping sensation and distension of viscera are not appreciated or not felt. So this was about the first stage, that is the spinal shock. There will be shock. किसी को एक झापड़ मारते हुए शॉक में आ जाता है ना थोड़ा देर के लिए, उसके बाद समझ में आता है कि आखिर सिचुएशन माजरा क्या था, बट कुछ देर के लिए तो शॉक में आता है ना. तो शॉक में सब कुछ खत्म, तुम्हारा मोटर सिस्टम, सेंसरी सिस्टम, विसरल सिस्टम, सब कुछ बिलो द लेवल खत्म हो जाता है, राइट. स्टेज ऑफ रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी. Now there is regaining of the reflex activity. How? We will see. If the patient survives, if he survives at all the stage of spinal shock, then gradually he gains the few function, and that is known as the stage of recovery. So stage of reflex activity is also known as stage of recovery, and that will take about 3 weeks period. It will take about 3 weeks period, and depending of course upon if you keep the general health of the patient very good, intact, this is 3 weeks time, or it will take longer if your general health is not good, or it may deteriorate also if your general health condition of the patient is not good, right. So the reflex activity begins to return to the isolated segment of the spinal cord. So it's very important, it's not the whole segment of the spinal cord at once time. It will be different isolated segment, and depending upon that, different reflex activity will return, right. We will see how. So the first of all, the first reflex or the first activity, functional activity to be regained is of smooth muscle. And remember, we are talking about the complete transaction. Okay, in that case, because in incomplete and other, this scenario changes. So incomplete transaction, in the second stage, that is a stage of reflex activity or a stage of recovery, the function that we gain is of, first of all, for the smooth muscle. Okay, so wherever the smooth muscle is there, you will gain the function. Right, bladder becomes automatic. Okay, that is the, now you can reflexly evacuate the urine, and then the defecation reflex also becomes intact, because they are solely dependent upon the smooth muscle functions. Then after the smooth muscle regained its function, then the sympathetic tone of the blood vessels is regained. So as soon as the sympathetic tone of the blood vessels is regained, what will happen? When connector cells of the spinal cord begin to act independently to vasomotor as a result. So that I said, the connector cells or intermediate cells, okay, in the spinal cord, now they don't need the vasomotor center or the medullary guidance. Okay, after 3 weeks, these connector cells or intermediate cells in the spinal cord, they will have the guiding authority for the sympathetic tone. Previously there was a guiding authority from the brainstem, from the vasomotor center, but now since they have lost its connection, so nature has created that intermediate cell or connector cell will only be a guiding authority now. And then there will be, of course, the regain will be not be exactly similar to the previous one, right? The whatever the brainstem was controlling and what this connector cell will be controlling, they will be controlling the same thing, but there will be no similarity. Okay, the effectiveness of the brainstem is much more higher than the connector cells effectiveness. Okay, so you will regain your blood pressure to normal, but the controlling of blood pressure will not be as effective, as smooth as it was in the brainstem controlling. Right? Of course, your skin will also become dry, which was dry and skin. Now it will show the sweating. It will be more healthy. Bed sore will again try to heal. Right? Then after smooth muscle, after sympathetic tone that you have gained, okay, then there will be third is the skeletal muscle. So smooth muscle, sympathetic tone of the blood vessels, and then skeletal muscle. So it will be after 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, smooth muscle. After 3 weeks, skeletal muscle. Recovery of the muscle tone is a reflex characteristic and is produced by impulse entering the spinal cord from the muscle. This is very important. Here comes the importance of what? Physiotherapy. Here comes the importance of physiotherapy. So remember what he's saying. Whatever recovery of your skeletal muscle, mind it is skeletal muscle I am saying, it is a recovery from the reflex, and it is reflex in character. The recovery is in a reflex in character. That means whatever more stimulate you try to stimulate the peripheral muscles, okay, more will be the stimulation and more will be the activity of the connector cells, and more will be the muscle tone that will gain. Okay, so what we do in the paralyzed patient, we say them that to get a physiotherapy done. The physiotherapist will come and they will try to rotate the arm, legs, limbs, lower limb, upper limb. Okay, so in that passive movements, the stimulation from the peripheral receptor is going towards to the spinal cord and trying to increase the muscle tone. So धीरे धीरे क्या होगा कि पैरालाइज मसल में टून आने लगेगा, स्टेटल मसल में टून आने लगेगा, है ना. पर्सन को कभी कभी वॉक कराया जाता है. सो ऑल दिस कि पकड़ के वॉक कराया जाता है, लाठी लेके वॉक करता है पेशेंट. तो बोला जाता है कि ऐसे बेड पर मत रहो पैरालाइज में, तो ऐसे रहोगे तो ब्लड वेसल्स सारा ब्लॉक हो जाएंगे एंड यू विल नॉट रिगेन योर एक्टिविटी ऑफ द लिम्स. So to regain the activity of the limbs, you have to mobilize the limbs, right? And mobilization causes this recovery actually. Okay. Tone of the flexion muscle returns first. Therefore, the flexor. This is also important. So, in our muscle, skeletal muscle, we have extension group of muscle and flexor group of muscle. So, first of all, there will be flexor muscle will return. The tone in the flexor group of muscle will return. So what do you think, what will be the position of the patient? So अगर flexor group का टोन अगर आ गया है, रिटर्न हो गया है, तो पेशेंट का जो पोजीशन होगा कैसा होगा? हाथ फ्लेक्शन में होगा, पैर फ्लेक्शन में होगा ज़्यादातर समय में. धीरे धीरे जब एक्सटेंशन मसल का आएगा तब फिर वो पैर सीधा कर पाएगा. ठीक है. तो द टोन ऑफ फ्लेक्सर मसल returns first, and therefore the flexor becomes less hypotonic than extensor, leading to here which will be the dominating first? Flexor will dominate first, because still the extensor is hypotoned, the flexor become hypertoned in regards to the extensor muscle, so there will be flexion. So that means we know कि paraplegia तो है उसको, but in flexion में है ना. पैरालिसिस है दोनों लिम्स का, दोनों लोअर लिम का, लेकिन दोनों लोअर लिम क्या हुआ? फ्लेक्शन स्टेट में. दैट मीन्स flexor group of skeletal muscle has regained its tone. So that's why it is known as paraplegia in flexion. Paraplegia in flexion. In spinal man, the limb cannot. Spinal man कहने का मतलब है जिसका ट्रांजेक्शन हो रखा है, तो limbs are not in a state of supporting your body. Okay, you need support of any of your colleagues or जो भी हो, लाठी वगैरह का जरूरत पड़ सकता है. ठीक है. And here no wasting of the muscle seen, because though the muscle are paralyzed for voluntary movements, but they are in a reflex activity. जिस समय ये both voluntary movements और reflex activity खत्म हो जाएगा तो हम कह सकते कि wasting of muscle होगा. बट रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी तो है ना. मान लो कि तुम अपने से पैर को नहीं हिला सकते हो, बट जब तुम नी जग करोगे, जब तुम प्लांटर रिफ्लेक्स करोगे तब तो मूवमेंट होगा. इसका मतलब हुआ कि एज मच एज यू हैव रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी, तब तक यू वॉन्ट हैव एनी वेस्टिंग ऑफ द मसल्स, राइट. Now, reflex activity begins to return after a few weeks of recovery of the muscle tone. So, after muscle tone is regained, reflex activity begin. Recovery of the reflex excitability is due to development of denervation hypersensitivity. Denervation hypersensitivity. ये एक टर्म है कि जब किसी को बहुत देर तक, है ना, नर्व्स, उसका जो नर्व सप्लाई उससे हटा के रखो. ठीक है. लाइक किसी ऑर्गन पे एफरेंट से रिसेप्टर से इम्पल्स आ रहा है. ठीक है. कुछ समय के लिए उसको हटाओ. अचानक से जब उसको स्टिमुलेट करोगे, है ना, उसी नर्व्स के थ्रू, तो वो हाइपर एक्साइटेबल हो जाएगा वो ऑर्गन. कहने का मतलब अगर इसको कैसे समझाएं. ओके, जैसे कि तुम जागे हुए हो, तुम्हें कोई आवाज़ दिया, तुम देखते हो, लेकिन अगर तुम सोए हुए हो, अचानक से तुमको कोई जोर से आवाज़ दिया, तुम क्या जोर से उठोगे? योर रिएक्शन विल बी हाइपर एक्साइटेड. अरे क्या हुआ? तो इन द सेम वे this denervation hypersensitivity occurs to the mediators released by the remaining spinal excitatory endings and the growing collaterals. Collaterals भी बहुत ग्रो करते हैं नर्व्स के आसपास. जो नर्व्स डैमेज हो जाते हैं उसके आसपास कोलेटरल ग्रो करने लगते हैं, हेल्प करने के लिए. फ्रॉम एग्जिस्टिंग न्यूरॉन्स विद द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एडिशनल एक्साइटरी एंडिंग ऑन द इंटरन्यूरॉन्स एंड द मोटर न्यूरॉन्स. सो वी हैव सीन दैट फ्लेक्सर मसल में टोन पहले आता है. उसी तरह इसलिए क्या होगा, फ्लेक्सर रिफ्लेक्स पहले आएगा, है ना. फ्लेक्सर रिफ्लेक्स पहले आएगा. And to elicit flexor response, painful stimuli is required. If you want to know the flexor response has returned or not, जस्ट क्या करो, पैरालाइज पेशेंट का पैर में लोअर लिम्ब तो पैरालाइज्ड है, उसको चीटी काटो तो क्या होगा, वो फ्लेक्स करेगा, एक्सटेंड नहीं करेगा, फ्लेक्स करेगा वो, है ना। दिस फर्स्ट रिफ्लेक्स विच यूजली अपीयर्स इज बेबेंस्की रिफ्लेक्स, है ना। बेबेंस्की रिफ्लेक्स जानते हो क्या होता है? बेबेंस्की रिफ्लेक्स में वी ऑन द सोल ऑफ द पेशेंट विद द हेल्प ऑफ ए की भी कर सकते हैं, या फिर कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट से हम लोग जिसमें नुकीला पदार्थ हो, उससे हम लोग सोल को वी जस्ट ट्राई टू scratch the sole, okay, and when we scratch the sole there will be flexor of the toes and the other finger, so that will say that it is a flexor response. If it is extensor response, that is the abnormal response, ठीक है। तो बेबेंस्की sign is positive, we say when we see the flexor response in this reflex. After flexor reflex has come, so we know the flexor reflex में सबसे पहला रिफ्लेक्स कौन सा होगा? बेबेंस्की रिफ्लेक्स होगा। एक्सटेंसर रिफ्लेक्स उसके बाद आता है after 1 to 5 week of appearance of the flexor response, and initially there will be knee jerk. This is the extensor response. सबसे पहला एक्सटेंसर रिस्पॉन्स कौन होता है? ये भी क्वेश्चन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। पहला एक्सटेंसर नी जर्क होता है। पहला एक्सटेंसर रिफ्लेक्स कौन सा गेन होता है? नी जर्क। पहला फ्लेक्सर कौन सा गेन होता है? बेबेंस्की रिफ्लेक्स। फ्लेक्सर और एक्सटेंसर में सबसे पहले रिफ्लेक्स किसका गेन होता है? फ्लेक्सर का, ठीक है। देन देयर विल बी एंकल जर्क। आफ्टर नी जर्क देयर विल बी एंकल जर्क, ओके। जनरली it takes about 6 months for the occurrence of the transaction for all the reflexes to occur, okay. Now the another interesting condition is the mass reflex. Mass reflex क्या होता है? Mass reflex can be elicited in some cases, है ना। ये रिफ्लेक्स को एलिसिट कैसे करते हैं? We scratch the skin over the lower limb or the anterior abdominal wall डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द लेवल ऑफ लीजन। इट इज कैरेक्टराइज्ड बाय, जब हम लोअर लिम्ब को स्क्रैच करते हैं या मुट्ठी से बांधते हैं या फिर एंटीरियर एब्डोमिनल वॉल को हम लोग स्क्रैच करते हैं, है ना, तो व्हाट विल हैपन, देयर विल बी स्पाज्म ऑफ द फ्लेक्सर मसल ऑफ बोथ लिम्ब, है ना। दोनों लिम्ब है, अपर एंड लोअर लिम्ब, दोनों का फ्लेक्शन हो जाएगा अचानक से। मास इसलिए बोलते हैं कि सिर्फ यही नहीं होगा, और भी इफेक्ट होगा। कहाँ पर? विसरा में। विसरा में क्या होगा? ब्लैडर क्या होगा? एवोक्यूएट हो जाएगा, है ना। क्या था? यूरिनरी रिटेंशन था, क्योंकि वेसिका मसल जो है, व्हाट वाज द नेम ऑफ द मसल? कॉन्स्ट्रिक्टर वेसिका था क्या? हाँ, सो कॉन्स्ट्रिक्टर मसल ऑफ द ब्लैडर, ओके। स्पिंक्टर वेसिका हम लोग पढ़े थे, तो दैट मसल ऑफ द ब्लैडर इज इन टोनिक स्टेट। तो उससे क्या होगा? रिटेंशन ऑफ द ब्लैडर हो रहा था, बट आफ्टर यू डू द स्क्रैचिंग ओवर द एब्डोमिनल वॉल और द थाई, है ना, व्हाट विल हैपन, देयर विल बी फ्लेक्शन ऑफ द लिम्स दैट वी हैव स्टडीड, upper limb, lower limb both, and there will also be evacuation of the bladder. That means the detrusor muscle जो है वो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेगा, है ना, जो कि पैरालाइज था वो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेगा, और जो कंस्ट्रिक्टर मसल था, स्पिंक्टर वेसिकली था, वो क्या होगा? रिलैक्स कर जाएगा। तो ये चीज होगा, फ्लेक्शन होगा। और क्या हो सकता है इसमें मास रिफ्लेक्स में? प्रोफ्यूज स्वेटिंग। क्या था? पहले ड्राई था, स्किन ड्राई था, वैसो कॉन्स्ट्रिक्शन था, अब इसे क्या होगा? वैसो डायलेटेशन हो जाएगा, प्रोफ्यूज स्वेटिंग होगी बिलो द लेवल ऑफ लीजन। तो कभी कभी ये मास रिफ्लेक्स ना पेशेंट यूटिलाइज करता है। मान लो कोई पेशेंट है, उसको एवोक्यूएट करना है, स्पाइनल शॉक में है वो, लेकिन उसको एवोक्यूएट करना है, तो बस उसके पेट को स्क्रैच कर दो या थाई को स्क्रैच कर दो, उसको फ्लेक्शन में आएगा और वो यूरिन भी निकाल लेगा, है ना। So this is the importance of the mass reflex. अब आता है तीसरा स्टेज, दैट इज द स्टेज ऑफ रिफ्लेक्स फेलियर। तो अगर पेशेंट डिटोरिएट हो गया उस स्टेज से भी, तो it may occur in the general condition of the patient starts deteriorating due to the if there is a malnutrition, proper care आपने नहीं लिया, ठीक है, सेकेंड फेज तक में आपने प्रॉपर केयर नहीं लिया, प्रॉपर न्यूट्रिशन नहीं दिया, या फिर इसको कोई सेकेंडरी इन्फेक्शन टॉक्सीमिया ही डेवलप कर जाता है, उस केस में धीरे धीरे रिफ्लेक्स फेलियर हो जाएगा, दे बिकम मोर डिफिकल्ट टू बी रेसिटेड, थ्रेशोल्ड स्टिमुली फोर्स बढ़ जाएगा, इंक्रीज रिफ्लेक्स का मतलब जितना स्टिमुलस पर आप उसको स्टिमुलस दे रहे थे वो रिफ्लेक्स एक्शन हो रहा था, अब क्या होगा उससे ज़्यादा स्टिमुलस देना पड़ेगा, ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंथ का स्टिमुलस देना पड़ेगा उसी रिफ्लेक्स को होने के लिए, ठीक है। दैट मीन्स देयर इज अ पुअर रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी, है ना, मास रिफ्लेक्स एबॉलिश हो जाता है, द मसल बिकम एक्सट्रीमली फ्लैसिड एंड अंडरगो वेस्टिंग, इस कंडीशन में वेस्टिंग होती है बिकॉज यू आर पैरालाइज्ड बट अगेन यू आर लूजिंग योर रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी ऑल्सो, है ना, तो दैट मीन्स देयर विल बी अ वेस्टिंग ऑफ द मसल्स। इनकम्प्लीट ट्रांजेक्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, है ना, बट जस्ट वी विल स्टडी। इनकम्प्लीट मतलब इनकम्प्लीट कब होगा? इनकम्प्लीट तब भी होगा जब मोर देन 90% या 99% ऑफ योर स्पाइनल कॉर्ड हैज बीन ट्रांसेक्टेड, और 75% और 60%, तो उसको बोलते हैं इनकम्प्लीट। इट्स नॉट एग्जैक्टली 50%, सो इट इज मोर देन 50%, less than 100%, so that is known as the incomplete transaction of the spinal cord. इसको थोड़ा सा हम जल्दी पढ़ेंगे कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है इसको। Incomplete transaction, the spinal cord is gravely injured but not suffer from the complete. Okay, if we say incomplete, that means there are few tracts either descending or the ascending which are intact, है ना, सब ट्रैक डैमेज नहीं हुआ जैसे कंप्लीट में हुआ था। इसका भी 3 फेज से गुजरता है ये, स्पाइनल शॉक, रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी एंड रिफ्लेक्स फेलियर। स्पाइनल शॉक सेम एज दैट वी हैव स्टडीड, रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी थोड़ा डिफर हो जाता है, थोड़ा नहीं बहुत डिफर कर जाता है ना। इसमें क्या होता है, रिफ्लेक्स एक्टिविटी में अगर आपका इनकम्प्लीट ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ है तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं ना कि हम लोग ये पता करके कि किस पे रिफ्लेक्स पहले आया है, हम ये पता लगा सकते हैं कि उस बंदे में कंप्लीट ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ था या फिर इनकम्प्लीट ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ था, बिकॉज स्पाइनल शॉक तो दोनों में सेम है। तो हम लोग सेकेंड फेज से पता ये लगा सकते हैं कि व्हाट वाज द पैथोलॉजी, वेदर इट वाज अ कंप्लीट ट्रांजेक्शन और वेदर इट इज अ incomplete transaction, right? So if it is incomplete transaction, the tone will appear first in the extensor muscle and not in the flexor muscle, as we have seen in the complete transaction. Okay, and why is it so? Because the fact that in incomplete transaction, some of the descending fiber in the lateral column of the cord, especially the vestibulospinal and reticulospinal tract, में escape injury. So ये दो फाइबर जो है डिसेंडिंग फाइबर जो है ये लोग बच जाते हैं इनकम्प्लीट में, लाइक वेस्टिबुलो स्पाइनल एंड रेटिकुलो स्पाइनल, ये लोग बच जाते हैं, ठीक है। दे विल एस्केप द इंजुरी एंड बोथ दीज ट्रैक्ट्स मेनली रीइंफोर्स द एक्टिविटी ऑफ द एक्सटेंसर मोटर न्यूरॉन, ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ कंपैरेटिवली हायर टोन इन द एक्सटेंसर मसल। सो द पेशेंट क्या रहेगा, एक्सटेंसर पोजीशन में रहेगा। कैसे? पेशेंट का जो लिम्ब होगा एकदम सीधा होगा, सीधा, और हाइपर भी एक्सटेंशन हो सकता है उसका, मुड़ा हुआ नहीं रहेगा, एकदम सीधा। हो सकता है कि बेड से भी उठ जाए थोड़ा, है ना, लेटे हुए में। हाथ जो होगा वो भी एकदम सीधा, फ्लेक्शन में स्टेट में नहीं होगा। तो इसको बोलते हैं कि आपका पैराप्लेजिया तो है, पैरालिसिस तो है, बट इन एक्सटेंशन पोजिशन। सो दिस स्टेज इज नोन एज पैराप्लेजिया इन extension. It is different with the paraplegia in flexion that we have seen in complete transaction, right? Next, now needless to say that if extensor tone has come, so extensor reflex will also come first. Our extensor reflex is nothing but a stretch reflexes, and flexor reflex reappears later, है ना। Extensor reflex which can be elicited in this stage in incomplete transaction and not incomplete transaction are, so there will be Philipson reflex. पता नहीं, ये हम लोग भी नहीं पढ़े हैं कि क्या है ये Philipson reflex. Let us see what is it. It refers to extension of the opposite limb produced by gentle flexion of the one limb. So when you produce a flexion in one limb, okay, there will be extension in the opposite limb. So this extension is a reflex that we have gained in this phase. The flexed limb then become extended and opposite one flex. तो उसको फ्लेक्स करोगे तो ये एक्सटेंड हो जाएगा, इसको एक्सटेंड करोगे तो ये, क्योंकि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, तो डिसेंडिंग ट्रैक्ट, इसको ध्यान से समझो, कोई बड़ा चीज़ नहीं है इसमें. जो ऊपर से जो डिसेंडिंग ट्रैक्ट आ रहा है ना, उसको मैंने फ्लेक्स करके क्या किया, एक्टिवेट कर दिया. अब ये डिसेंडिंग ट्रैक्ट क्या करेगा, एक्सटेंशन न्यूरॉन को एक्टिवेट करेगा अपोजिट साइड की और एक्सटेंड कराएगा. सिंपल, ठीक है. एक्सटेंशन थ्रस्ट रिफ्लेक्स होगा, है ना, क्रॉस्ड एक्सटेंसर रिफ्लेक्स होगा, है ना, ये सब रिफ्लेक्स होगा. एक्सटेंशन थ्रस्ट रिफ्लेक्स, क्रॉस्ड एक्सटेंसर रिफ्लेक्स, ये सब पढ़ने का उतना ज़रूरत नहीं है ना. ये सब क्रॉस्ड में मेनली हम लोग ये क्रॉस नॉर्मल भी पाते हैं, पता है किसमें, बच्चे में. जब बच्चा जब पैदा होता है ना, तो ये सब जो ये है, ये सब नॉर्मल आता है उसमें. ये सब रिफ्लेक्स ऐसे नहीं आएगा अभी नॉर्मल पर्सन में, हमें तुम्हें नहीं आएगा. It refers to the occurrence of the forcible extension of the opposite limb associated with the withdrawal reflex produced by the noxious stimuli in the sole of the foot. Sole of the foot को हम लोग स्केच करेंगे तो क्या होगा, क्रॉस्ड एक्सटेंशन होगा. एक हाथ एक साइड का फ्लेक्शन होगा, दूसरे साइड का एक्सटेंशन होगा. ये बच्चे में मिलता है. Mass reflex is not associated as it was in the complete transaction. ठीक है. स्टेज ऑफ रिफ्लेक्स फेलियर भी वही है. अब मेन आया हेमीसेक्शन ऑफ द स्पाइनल कॉर्ड, ब्राउन सेक्योर्ड सिंड्रोम. I'll take a pause for 1 minute. So we were studying about the hemisection of the spinal cord, and this is very much important from exam point of view, post PG examination and all, everything. What is brown sequard syndrome? It is hemisection of the spinal cord, and it refers to the lesion involving one lateral half. Remember, one lateral half of the spinal cord, right? It can occur in the following accidental injuries. It can also be produced by experimental studies in animals. So in experimental studies, it's very much popular because we do the experiment on the animals and we produce this brown sequard syndrome to study different lesions of the spinal cord. You can see this is picture depicting about what. This is the cerebral cortex, this is the thalamus, the relay station of the tract, ascending tract, and these are the fiber that descends down. There are some ascending fiber also, some descending fiber also. Okay, and you can see the ventral and lateral spinothalamic tract here. Okay, one thing you need to understand, that the spinothalamic tracts, they try to go on other side and then they ascend. Okay, and this posterior cord, that is the tract of gall and buttock, they don't cross. This you need to remember, two things. The spinothalamic tract, they cross, and the tract of gall and buttock, that is the posterior column tract, ये पढ़े होगे शायद, they do not cross. ठीक है. इस चीज को बैकग्राउंड में रखते हुए, you can see here, if I can show you this, this is the crossed fiber. Okay, this is a pyramidal tract, there is a descending tract which is coming from the above, okay, anteriorly, and this is the crossed pyramidal tract. These are the cross pyramidal tract, and this is the spinothalamic tract. So with this background, we will study what is the immediate effect and late effect. Immediate effect of the following hemisection is just like a spinal shock that we have studied. Now what is the late effect of the hemisection of the brown sequard syndrome? If the patient survives the earlier or the spinal stage of spinal shock, the late effects will be Typical motor and sensory changes develop after a recovery of the spinal cord shock. These changes constitutes Brown-Sequard syndrome, and we can study this Brown-Sequard syndrome changes in three formats. That is the changes, excuse me, changes below the level of the section where the lesion is there. What are the changes above the level of the section, and what are the changes at the level of the section? So at the level, below the level, above the level, right? In these three subtopics, we will study the effects of Brown-Sequard syndrome. So let's study what happens. What are the changes that takes place at the level of transaction, at the level of the injury? So we will study at every level. We will study the changes in the sensory same side and the opposite side. Okay, so at the level of the heavy section, we will study changes in the same side, changes in the opposite side. In the same way, below the level of the section, we will study changes in the same side, changes in the opposite side. In the same way, changes above the level of section, we will study changes in the same side, changes in the opposite side. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the changes at the level of the hemisection and changes at the same side. So what happens at the level of the section and at the same side? Sensory changes. So all the sensory changes are lost. This is known as complete anesthesia. So there will be complete anesthesia or the total sensory lost at the level of the hemisection in the same side. This occurs because the complete damage of the posterior nerve root. Okay, complete damage of the posterior nerve root. Since this is a not cross things, this is not everything on the same side. Same the lateral on the half of if the half of the lateral spinal cord is damaged, so at the same side everything will be damaged. Either it is a posterior column, or it is a posterior horn cell, or the spinothalamic fiber. Okay, everything will be destroyed. So in that case, sensory changes at that level will be complete anesthesia. Okay, what are the motor changes in the same side at the level of transaction? So at the level of the hemisection on the same side, there will be complete lower motor neuron type of paralysis. Now when we say lower motor neuron type of paralysis, that means I have discussed in previous lecture that motor neuron is present in the where? Anterior horn, and the sensory neuron is present in the posterior horn. So since anterior horn is damaged, so there will be complete lower motor neuron paralysis. Lower motor neuron paralysis. When you were asked what is the difference between lower motor neuron paralysis and upper motor neuron paralysis, so lower motor, always you have to say there is a damage of the anterior horn cell. There is damage of the anterior horn cell. Okay. So what will be there? There will be flaccid paralysis of the muscle, that is paralysis with the loss of muscle. All the reflexes are lost. Muscle power is lost, and ultimately muscle degenerates. It undergoes wasting. So no reflex, nothing. So there will be wasting of the muscle. So this is a lower motor neuron type of paralysis. There is a feature of the lower motor neuron type of paralysis, and they are seen on the same side at the level of hemisection. Now there will be complete and permanent vasomotor paralysis also due to damage of lateral horn, because lateral horn was providing T1 to L2. They were providing thoracolumbar neurons of the sympathetic nerves. So that means the damage to them will also cause permanent and complete vasomotor paralysis. So you can expect hypotension in this. What happens changes in the opposite side? So what is the story of the changes in the opposite side? We have seen that in the same side, the motor, the sensory changes, the vasomotor changes, right? In the opposite side, at the same level, what will happen? What is the sensory changes? There occurs some loss of pain, temperature, crude touch due to injury of the fiber of spinothalamic tract which cross horizontally in the same segment and may be cut up in the lesion. So what happens when your spinothalamic tract crosses horizontally at the same level? So in the opposite side you have lesion. We are talking about the changes in the other side. So opposite side we have lesion, and suppose that spinothalamic tract they crosses at that level, okay, and they go to the other side. There may be possibility that some of the fiber may be damaged because the other side injury is there, okay. इसलिए बोला जाता है कि there will be some loss, not total loss, some loss of the sensation carried out by spinothalamic tract. ठीक है. But the posterior tract, that is the tract of gall and buttock, are not affected. I said tract of gall and buttock only on the same side. They are never crossed. So no question of going the fiber of gall and buttock towards the opposite side where damage has occurred. So they are safe in this side. So unaffected side gall and buttock is intact, and that's why the sensation carried by gall and buttock, that is what vibratory sensation, okay, stereognosis, okay, 2-point discrimination. So all these sensations are intact in the opposite side of the lesion, right? Then we come across the motor changes on the opposite side. Usually no motor changes occurs. If it occurs, it is very mild and it is very similar to the effects on the lower motor neuron lesion. So it's very mild. Motor neurons are not affected. Because why? Because anterior horn cells are not destroyed. That's why motor changes are not very much affected. What now? This is changes at the same level. What happens in the changes below the level of the lesion? Understood? Same level mein. When you read this, you just visualize the spinal cord. Okay, then only you can understand. Okay. So changes in the same side. We are talking about the changes below the level of the lesion. Okay, what happens in the same side? What happens in the opposite side? In the same side, let's talk. Sensory changes. There is a dissociatory changes below the level. Dissociatory changes. अब जब डिसोसिएटेड चेंजेस मतलब क्या होता है कि एक साइड का डिफरेंट कहानी, दूसरा साइड का डिफरेंट कहानी रहेगा. ठीक है. व्हाट हैपेंस? इंजरी टू द अनक्रॉस्ड फाइबर of the tract of gall and buttock causes loss of fine touch, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, sensation of vibration, conscious kinesthetic sensation, and stereognosis. So these are the sensation which is carried out by the posterior tract, or in other words gall and buttock tract. Okay, so since they are uncrossed and since they are damaged from the above segments, because we are in the below segments. The above segment has been damaged in the same side, right? So since they are uncrossed fibers, so they will go to the segment that is injured, and there will be no sensation carried from the gall and buttock. So all these vibration, sense, discrimination, kinesthetic sensation, stereognosis, they are lost on the same side below the level of the section, right? There will be no injury to the spinothalamic tract. Why? Because when you are below the level, what happens? At that level only they will cross and go towards the thalamus, right? They don't have to come above the level where the actual threat is there, right? समझ में आया? जहाँ पर हम लोग बिलो द लेवल की बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो बिलो द लेवल मान लो कि T1 पर T1 के राइट साइड में डैमेज हुआ, ठीक है, या फिर T4 के राइट साइड में डैमेज हुआ. हम लोग T6 पे आ गए, तो T6 का जो स्पाइनोथैलेमिक ट्रैक्ट होगा सेम साइड की बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, जिधर साइड में डैमेज हुआ है. तो T6 का जो असेंडिंग ट्रैक जो होगा, स्पाइनोथैलेमिक ट्रैक जो होगा, वो T6 पर ही क्रॉस करके ऊपर चला जाएगा। उसको T4 तक की आने की जरूरत ही नहीं है उस साइड में जहाँ पर डैमेज एक्चुअली हुआ है, ठीक है। वो T6 से ही अपोजिट साइड क्रॉस करेगा और ऊपर की तरफ थैलेमस में चला जाएगा। तो इसका मतलब हुआ कि T6 के लेवल पर कोई भी इंजरी नहीं हुआ है स्पाइनोथैलेमिक ट्रैक्ट का, एंड दैट्स वाई crude touch, pain, temperature, sensation are not lost at the same side below the level, ठीक है। What is lost? Tract and gall and bottle sensation which are carried out by this fiber, they are damaged. समझ में आया? नहीं समझ में आया फिर से रिवाइंड करके वीडियो को पॉज करके देख लो। It's very simple. What are the motor changes? What are the motor changes below the level of the section? So visualize the below the level. मैंने T6 पे जाओ, T4 पे डैमेज हुआ है, सेम साइड में जाना है। There occurs upper motor neuron type of paralysis due to injury of pyramidal tract. So there occurs upper motor neuron paralysis feature of our, so there will be damage to the upper motor neuron paralysis. So upper motor neuron paralysis does not cross. Okay. This pyramidal tract, when they come from the pyramidal tracts, they come from the brain. Okay, they will go into the anterolateral part of the spinal cord, and they are actually crossed where? In the midbrain only they are crossed. You will see the figure here. I think figure was there. जब तुम डिसेंडिंग ट्रैक्ट पढ़ोगे तो पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट कहाँ क्रॉस हो गया? यहीं पर क्रॉस हो गया। पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट तो यहीं पर क्रॉस हो गया, यहाँ पर क्रॉस नहीं हो रहा है। तो एंट्रोलैटरल पार्ट ऑफ पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट है मेरा, और चूंकि एंट्रोलैटरल पार्ट ऊपर से डैमेज हो चुका है ना, एंट्रोलैटरल पार्ट ऊपर से डैमेज हो चुका है, दैट्स वाई एंट्रोलैटरल पार्ट डैमेज हो चुका है, इसलिए पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट का सेंसेशन मतलब कि पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट का जो भी कैरी होता है सेंसेशन वो नहीं आएगा। एंड दैट टाइप ऑफ इफ यू डैमेज टू द पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट वी से दैट इज द अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस। सो व्हेनेवर यू आर आस्क्ड व्हाट इज लोअर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस, डैमेज टू द एंटीरियर हॉर्न सेल। व्हेनेवर यू आर आस्क्ड व्हाट इज अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस, डैमेज टू द पिरामिडल ट्रैक्ट, ठीक है। नाउ व्हाट आर द फीचर ऑफ अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस? लोअर मोटर के बारे में हम जानते थे कि उसमें फ्लैसिडिटी होगा, उसमें रिफ्लेक्स लॉस होगा, उसमें तुम्हारा वेस्टिंग हो सकता है, ठीक है। अब अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस में क्या फीचर आते हैं? देयर विल बी इंक्रीज मसल टोन लीडिंग टू स्पास्टिक पैरालिसिस। तो स्पास्टिक पैरालिसिस इज सीन इन अपर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस, फ्लैसिड पैरालिसिस इज सीन इन लोअर मोटर न्यूरॉन पैरालिसिस। लॉस ऑफ सुपरफिशियल रिफ्लेक्स, but in lower motor neuron paralysis, loss of both the reflex, है ना, exaggeration of the deep reflex, है ना, positive Babinski sign, rigidity of the limb, no degeneration or wasting of the muscle. So these are the sub point, contrasting point which you can differ from the lower motor neuron paralysis. So whenever what are the motor change below the level same side, there will be upper motor neuron paralysis. What are the sensory changes? Sensory carried by spinothalamic tract intact, sensation carried by gall and buttock not intact, damaged, lost, ठीक है। Now what are the vasomotor changes in the same side below the level? Same side below the level, okay. There occurs temporary loss of vasomotor tone due to damage of the descending fiber. So I said you the authoritating vasomotor center in the medulla, it has been cut off. So it will take some time for the connected cells to guide its authority, and that's why it will take some time. So it is that's why it is a temporary loss and not a permanent loss. So what will happen if there is a loss? There will be loss of vasomotor tone, and there will be dilatation of the blood vessel. If there is dilatation of the blood vessel, there will be fall in blood pressure. However, soon the intact lateral horn cell, that is the connector cells, which acts as supplementary VMC, they are now start acting as a supplementary VMC. VMC तो medulla में है, but they are now start acting as a supplementary VMC, and vasomotor tone returns after some time, leading to normalization of the blood pressure and the blood vessels vasoconstriction, right? So what happens in the changes in the these were the changes in same side below the level. Now what happens below the level opposite side? Below the level opposite side, they in the sensory changes there will also dissociated sensory loss occur. What is dissociated? Injury to the crossed spinothalamic tract, because आफ्टर T6 के लेवल की बात करें अपोजिट साइड में, तो ये T6 पर क्रॉस तो कर जाएगा, लेकिन जाएगा ऊपर में कहाँ? T4 में जाएगा, और डैमेज कहाँ हुआ? T4 में, उस साइड में हुआ है. इसलिए देयर विल बी इंजरी टू द क्रॉस स्पाइनोथैलेमिक ट्रैक्ट एंड दैट कॉजेज लॉस ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सेंसेशन ऑन द अपोजिट साइड below the level of the lesion. Crude touch, pain, temperature, there will be loss in opposite side. ठीक है? Below the level there will be no injury to the uncrossed tracts of gall and buttock. So following sensation in the opposite side of the below the level will not be lost. And what are the sensation? Fine touch, tactile localization, tactile discrimination, vibration, kinesthetic stereodiagnosis, these will not be lost because the tract of gallbladder and the opposite side they are uncrossed fiber. ठीक है? Now what are the motor changes in opposite side below the level? Usually no motor changes on the opposite side below the level. Upper motor neuron lesion type paralysis of a few muscles can happen. May sometimes due to possible damage to the some fiber of direct pyramidal tract, otherwise no damage. Okay, in a nutshell, if you see below the level of sensation, mainly there is a below the level of the lesion there occurs, if you talk about the same side, extensive motor loss but little sensory loss. If you talk about the opposite side, little motor loss, extensive sensory loss. Okay, now what are the changes above the level of the lesion? Let's talk about the same side. Just wait a minute. I have a call to attend. Okay, so what we were talking about the changes above the level of the lesion and changes in the same side. Let's talk about the same side above the lesion. Sensory changes. A band of hyperesthesia, that is increased cutaneous sensation are present in one or two segments above the level of the section on the same side. This occurs due to irritation of the neighboring posterior nerve root above the level of the section. So this is not known why these changes occurs, but they may be, on the irritation of the neighboring fibers that can cause hyperesthesia or hypersensitivity to the ascending tract, and that can lead to the a band of hyperesthesia above the level and the same side. Okay, motor changes, just like the same as sensory occurs, the motor will also be activated. Twitching of muscle in the upper one or two segments on the same side may occur, and this is due to the irritation of the neighboring anterior nerve root above the level of the section. Okay. And why this irritation occurs, not known. What are the changes in opposite side of the above the lesion? Sensory changes, either no sensory changes or referred hyperesthesia, maybe one or two segments. Referred hyperesthesia means it's like a referred pain, है ना, कि जहाँ पर किसी दूसरे जगह डैमेज हुआ है, कहीं और जगह पेन हो रहा है, दैट इज रेफर्ड हाइपरस्थेशिया. पेन ज़्यादा होगा. हाइपरस्थेशिया मीन्स पेन तो होगा बस ज़्यादा होगा. हम इतना मतलब समझ लो कि एक पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रेंथ का स्टिमुलस देने से पेन होता है मेरे को, ठीक है. हाइपरस्थेशिया का मतलब हो गया हम उससे कम स्टिमुलस का भी स्ट्रेंथ दे रहे हैं तब भी पेन ज़्यादा होने लग रहा है. दैट इज नोन एज हाइपरस्थेशिया. ठीक है. बहुत ज़्यादा इसमें चेंजेस नहीं है. मोटर चेंज, नो मोटर चेंज द अपोजिट साइड above the level of the lesion. ठीक है. तो I think these are the main thing which you must know These are the main topic which I had to do. So if there is any question, you can ask me in the WhatsApp. Okay, it is unless and until you study from the book one more time, you won't be able to understand. So the basic cheese in there, you have to understand the basic funda of the cross section of the spinal cord, which fiber lands where, okay, and which fiber crossed, which fiber are uncrossed, that you have to know. तो ठीक है, हम लोग यहीं पर समाप्त करते हैं. कुछ जो बाकी रहेगा एग्ज़ाम के बाद, इसमें से एक क्वेश्चन तो एग्ज़ाम में रहेगा, आई मीन दिस एग्ज़ाम, कमिंग एग्ज़ाम, ठीक है. एंड व्हाट इज़ दैट क्वेश्चन, आई रियली डोंट नो. ठीक है, ओके, सो थैंक यू सो मच.